This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by heavyweight Matty Harris here over Zoom. Matty, first of all, thank you very much for your time today. And how is everything?
No, no worries, mate. Everything's good. As I said, I'm just up in Glasgow at the minute. Got to be honest with you, not a big fan.
Not a fan of Glasgow. Why? What are you not a fan about of
Uh,
it?
I don't know, just it's not really my kind of city. Don't really like it, but here for work, so and they got a decent David Lloyd up here, so I don't really care.
Fair enough.
Supposed to be there.
Just talking on your last fight, a big first round stoppage in Brighton as you continue your rise to the top. Just looking back at that performance, what did you take away from it?
There wasn't really much to take away from it. Just little bits, just in terms of again, stuff that I'm working on in the gym with Peter. I'm not gonna say. But he was happy with it. You could see the improvements between now and the last fight. For me, it's just a matter of just keep improving, keep educating yourself, and yeah, become more relaxed and just get on there and do the business. Enjoy it.
I want to talk about that trainer-fighter relationship that you've got with Peter, because I think you did an interview with IFL last week, talking so highly of Peter, and I guess you say how beneficial he's been to your career, especially bouncing back from your first career defeat nearly a year ago, or nearly 2 years ago now, even.
Yeah, I know. 2 years ago,
Just talk to me about that relationship that you've got with Peter and how beneficial he's been in your career.
he's been very beneficial. He's again, he's given me, helped me not just as a fighter but as a person. Obviously, the two go hand in hand. So yeah, he's been. As I said, I don't know how to, but he's been a blessing to me.
Hmm.
As I said he's definitely helped with a lot and helped me become a better man.
And you mentioned being up in Glasgow for work. Can you reveal any work that's going on up there, or?
Yeah, of course, I've been posting it anyway. Yeah, no, I've been up here sparring with Bacoli and Rappo. So yeah, just enjoying that.
Some good rounds there. Obviously for
There you
Bacoli,
go.
he's got a big fight coming up, so I'm guessing you're helping him prepare for FA Jagba.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, helping him get ready. Obviously, just coming out of it's my first couple of weeks back into training after the last fight, so I think I had a week off, chilled out for a bit, and yeah, straight back into the gym. So yeah, he's good work, you know, because you've seen him, you've seen what he can do. He's a very clever fighter. He's brilliant. So especially on the front foot, so you can learn a lot from him.
And for yourself, getting rounds in with such experienced fighters like Bacoli and Riakporhe and many other heavyweights that you've sparred over the years, how beneficial is that for yourself in your own development as well?
Oh, obviously it's brilliant. It's like as I said, being able to spar with these top guys, and not just spar, being in the gym around them, has brought me on leaps and bounds. But as I said, it's not just in terms of ability; it's their mindset behind the training. As I said, that's why me being in the gym with Peter and being able to see how Huey trains and Savannah, who are both been at world level, and seeing the level they go to is brilliant for myself because that's where I need to be, and I need to be at there, and if not pushing myself harder.
Would you say
So yeah,
going for these sparring trips and whatnot, and obviously you mentioned being in the gym with Huey and Savannah as well,
yeah.
it's not just about seeing how they work in the ring and doing their technical stuff, but seeing how they live their life away from the ring as well, and how to get yourself to that level just by seeing their day-to-day lifestyle.
Of course, yeah, it's brilliant. Like everybody's different. Everybody's got their own different styles and their different ways of doing things. So it's just about taking the good bits and using what works for you
Hmm.
and
And
just being yourself.
absolutely. For yourself, when can we next see you in the ring? When do you next want to be out?
Hopefully June, I think. But as I said, I'm ready whenever. We stay in the gym. I stay working hard. Obviously I'm back sparring, so I'll probably spar for these next couple of weeks. Wait until I get a date and then kick it back up again. So yeah, I'm always ready, always improving. As I said, I can't take time out of the gym. I'm not a perfect fighter. I don't think anyone is. So I need to always be improving, always working on yourself.
If I was to ask you, where would you like to be, let's say, this time next year? what level and what would you have liked to achieve in
At
the
least
belt?
looking at the very least looking at a British title, looking at whoever's got the belt, and going in there and trying to knock them out.
Well, you mentioned the British title. It is up for grabs this Saturday night as David Adeleye and Jeamie TKV battle it out in Manchester.
Yep,
How do you
good
see that
fight.
fight? How do you see that fight playing out? It is a very good fight on paper.
I know. I think myself, if I had to pick a winner, I'd pick Jeamie. But again, it's one of them like I think Adelaide is very explosive and he's very good. I just don't. I think Jamie's too defensively slick to get caught with any of them big shots early. Although who knows? Again, that's the beauty with heavyweight boxing, is anything can happen.
Hmm.
But I think Jamie's a bit too slick to go in there and walk into anything stupid early. I think he's gonna put it on Adley and he's gonna grind him down.
Do you believe he gets the stoppage?
I don't know about the stoppage. He might do. I don't know.
Hmm.
But I think he beats him, and especially towards the back end of the fight, he'll start turning it up.
Fair enough. And I just want to look at that main event as well. A lot of talk in the heavyweight division at the moment. A big headline this weekend. Joe Joyce, Filip Hrgović, originally
Yeah,
set to be Dillian White, but Filip Hrgović in. A lot of fans still saying it is just as good of a fight. While it doesn't hold the name value on paper, it's still a great matchup. Who do you make the favourite going into this?
Hrgović. That was very simple. I think Hrgović is again another thing. I think depends how obviously how he comes back after the loss.
Hmm.
If he still got that desire there, because obviously you were saying all sorts of stuff before the Daniel fight that he was going to retire if Daniel beat him, etc., etc. So you don't know how that's knocked his confidence.
Hmm.
Obviously, as a fighter, confidence is everything. So again, naturally, I would lean towards Filip Hrgović, but again, I don't know how he's going to come back after the loss. And as I said, I think it's a good time to fight Joyce now. I do. I think it's a good time to fight him. I think he's how old is he now? He's about 40.
I think he's 40, yeah, 39 or
Yeah,
40.
yeah. He's been done a couple of times now and been dropped by Chisora. Hrgović, he can punch, and that's one of the things. Like I said, I think he's been very underrated for is how hard he can hit,
Hmm.
and he's tough as well. He's very explosive and he's quite a clever fighter. So if I had to, again, I don't obviously. I think Joyce looked all right towards the back end of the Chisora fight, and he still looked fit, and he was letting his hands go and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's all Hrgović, man.
You how and if I was to ask you to split it in terms of percentage, what percentage do you give for Hrgović and Joyce if you split it down the middle?
65-35, Hrgović.
That's a very,
Yeah,
very fair estimation. I like that. Just looking at some of these other big talking points, I think one of the biggest ones recently, well, there's
yeah.
been a few big ones, but one that has really stuck out. Anthony Joshua has been called out. We know he's been called out many times in the past, but probably the most unique one so far, Jake Paul. I could tell by your
Oh,
face that you're not the biggest fan of this. See it if
do
we.
you know what it is? That's dangerous.
Hmm.
That is dangerous. I mean, I'm not being funny, but do you think Jake Paul could even beat Francis Ngannou?
Personally, no, I don't think so.
Exactly. And you seen what Joshua done to him?
That is true.
Yeah, I think Jake Paul would get flattened. He would get his head punched clean off his shoulders. But to be honest, if they're paying him, as I said this, if they're paying him enough money, I'm sure he'll get in there and do
Do you
it.
not think? Do you not think it's going to get to a point where he's got to weigh out the while there's going to be so much money on the line, you've also got to weigh out the fact that this isn't no, Tommy Fury, Anderson Silva, or any of the guys that he's been boxing recently, and this is a 6'6" man mountain in front of you.
Yeah, but I think when you're throwing 100 million on the table, I think all them kind of morals go out the window, don't they?
Yeah, true.
I don't know what. I think he probably would take it. I'm not gonna lie to you, right?
What did you make of him? If we're going to quote him on what he said on his podcast, that he said that AJ has no skill, he's stiff, and he's got no chin. What do you make of
Um,
hearing comments like that from Jake Paul?
Again, it's a very casual. Get in there and check, see for yourself, then, man. Like it's one of them. Like He's a very kind of casual boxing fan approach to it. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure if he was to get in there with him and do a few rounds with him, if he got out the first, then you would see what he's about. You don't get to winning world titles twice, being a unified heavyweight champion from having no skill. Like, that's just ridiculous. It's stupid.
You know,
So
out of everyone I've asked about their response to that quote, I think that's probably the best response I've heard yet. Just get in there and see
yeah,
for yourself. I think that's the best way to go about it. Um,
honestly, yeah,
moving on from that, you mentioned Derek Chisora earlier on in the interview. He has been ordered to fight Daniel Dubois for the
yeah.
IBF heavyweight world title. Um, Derek has been known to say the 50th will be his last one. I mean, going out with a world title shot isn't bad, but is Dubois the right man you want to see him in there with?
No, 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 he's really not. I think he's just too young and powerful and aggressive. I think Derek, yeah, I don't see that ending good. Derek's had a long career. He's had a hard career. He's done very well for himself. Um, honestly, I'd rather see him in there with Usyk. I'd rather see that again
Do you think,
than see him going around Daniel.
especially after the 12 rounds that they shared, Usyk and Chisora a couple of years ago, do you think that
Exactly, it
there's a
was
bit
very
more appeal for
competitive.
it?
Yeah, and I think they've both kind of since then. Usyk is phenomenal as he looks. As I said, father time waits for no one. You know what I mean? So you never know. He might slow down a bit to make it even more competitive. And I know he doesn't hit as hard as Dubois, so I'd much rather see that. And I don't think Usyk would go in there to try and hurt Derek anyway. From a personal perspective, I got a lot of respect for Derek. I don't want to see him go in there and get hurt. So I think I think the Usyk fight would be much more competitive anyway.
Hmm.
So I'd rather go in there and watch that.
Out of all the names in the heavyweight scene right now, forgetting the world title shots and whatnot, who would you like to see Derek Chisora share the ring with for what is looking to be his 50th and final one?
Who would I want to see him in there with? Um, them Dylan White fights never get old.
Hmm.
They never get old. It's just the two of them. They could be at any age, at any point in their career, and they would still have a tear up.
Hmm.
Just their styles just mesh together really well. Who would I want to see him in there with? I don't know. I'll say Dylan White for the sake of the interview, but I genuinely don't know.
Fair
I haven't
enough.
put that report into it.
Just the last big talking point in the heavyweight division. Deontay Wilder is making his return in June.
Deontay Wilder. I'd see him in there with Deontay Wilder.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go. Two birds, one stone. They're leading into the next question. We know that Deontay Wilder is returning June 27th against Terrell Herndon. Um, you can tell by looking at the opponent that it is just a fight for Deontay Wilder to get back into the swing of things. But
Yeah.
you're just happy to see Deontay Wilder getting back in the mix?
No, not really.
Oh,
Not really at all. I think that he's one of them fighters that he's he's been a phenomenal puncher and a tremendous athlete, but his athleticism kind of going. He's getting older. I don't really think that. Maybe, as I said, if he's fighting him and Anthony Joshua, could have a fight, but not at any sort of level. You seen what happened when he fought Joe Parker and how bad he made it. Was he winning 12 rounds to nothing?
mm,
And don't get me wrong, Joe Parker's a phenomenal fighter, but he's not at that level. Do you know what I mean? And what happened when he fought Zhang? But it was sad.
mm,
So I'm not overly keen on seeing him get back in there because truthfully, I don't think he could mix it at that level. Even the step down, like Bacoli's, and they would tear him to pieces. A Caballero would tear him to bits. I genuinely don't see it. I think yeah. I don't see that ending well.
Would would you still have any interest if an Anthony Joshua fight is to get made? Because you said it's not a possibility for this year, but for 2026, Wilder has said that him versus Anthony Joshua is a big possibility.
That fight we've been waiting on that for 2020. We've been waiting on that fight for 8 years. Like, I think it'd be great to. I'll probably watch it, and I think they're both a bit shot worn. So it'll be yeah, I could see that being a good fight. I wouldn't want to see him in there with any of the younger guys. I wouldn't want to see either of them in there with any of the younger guys coming through.
Hmm.
But to fight each other, yeah, I'd watch it. They're both superstars in their own right. Could do a stadium in that fight, and yeah,
And then after they fight, maybe both of them sail off into the
both of them
sunset.
jacketing, yeah. Although, as I said, I think AJ's got a few more in him, but I
Hmm.
think Wilder's probably got that one in him. And I don't even think he's got that in him, but he'll probably just drag his carcass out there for 20 million or 50 million or whatever they get paid for it. So why not?
Do you feel this is just my last one here? Do you feel there is that problem at the moment in the heavyweight division where we're in a bit of a transitional period where we're seeing a lot of our current stars of the division get to an age where they are ready to retire, but
Yeah.
with the money going around at the moment with the influence of Riyadh season, it's a lot
Yeah, they
harder
go
to call
nowhere.
it a day now.
Yeah, with that much money floating around, they ain't going nowhere. They'll wait until the money dries up and then they'll probably all jack it in at the same time. But yeah, I think there's that much money floating around with Riyadh season. These guys are already established stars, so they can already command a certain amount of money. So they ain't going nowhere. They'll stick around until the Saudis decide that they're no longer interested.
Fair enough. Well, Matty, we're gonna leave it there. Thank you very much for your time today. Good to catch up. Hopefully we catch up
Pleasure.
again soon. Cheers.
Top man. Appreciate it. Thank you.